Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with yet another episode of Quilt Bingo. Yes, we got Quilt Bingo going, and today we're going to be doing a traditional block. Now, this is one of these blocks that I always look at. I go, oh gosh, I want to make this block. I want to do this block so badly, and it's just like, yes, now we have the opportunity to do it. And there's different ways of assembling these blocks. Now you're going to find the PDFs and the patterns, everything in the show notes, but it's just going to be just a fun little block. And there's, like I say, there's different takes. I'm going to show you how I did my different take because of the fabrics that I was using. But anyways, let's first do our shout out. Our shout out here is Sterling at Sterling LaBosky, and then Brooklyn at Block Party Quilt Company. Now, both of these people are having just a fabulous time over on their YouTube channel. So go check them out, give them some encouragement, give them some love. And, you know, if you like what you see, hit their subscribe button. And tell them, most importantly, that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. Because it's kind of important to spread out that goodwill and, you know, good karma throughout the world. And this is my way of doing it. So helping other, you know, quilting channels. Now, the other thing you're going to find in there is the Zoom sew dates in the show notes. It's so important to get in there. It's the first Saturday of every month, and it's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if you don't feel like sewing that day, or you just like, wow, I've got all this knitting I have to do, bring it instead. It's fine. We have a good time in there, and we're including people, not excluding people. So it's all good. Also, helping us along and helping our analytics on a video is really important. So I guess there's a hype thing now, and I guess there's people that know how to do this hype thing, but also making comments, sharing, liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, doing the thumbs up, all of that stuff helps our analytics for these videos to help us continue giving you three fun-filled patterns every week. And we're just, like I say, we're having a good time, but we would like to be able to spread that joy of fun-free patterns, right, around the world. Also, we have a Facebook group, and there are fabric exchanges by country to keep postal costs down, community chats, and there's lots of fun ones now. And the virtual sewing room is hosted by Discord. And the admins have asked me to ask you guys, when you're coming into that Facebook group, if you're part of the Facebook community and you want to come into the group, please answer the questions and please agree to the rules. If you don't, they're not even considering it. They're not considering letting you in because there's, you know, we want to keep the room and the group as safe as possible. So if you can do that, that would be awesome. Also, I speak for free about quilt design, element designs, or designs of, elements of design. Making charity quilts and working with scraps. But I also am going to have a second one out here ready for the end of December. So if your group or guild is looking for a speaker, please keep me in mind. I would love to come speak to your group or guild. You can either get a hold of me through the About tab where my email address is, or message me through the Facebook group. Also, if you've got a shout out, if you see channels that are quilting channels that are having a good time and putting out some great content, please give me their names. Please send them to me, the links. I'd be happy to give them a shout out, but don't tell them that you're doing that. We're trying to do this as a surprise. So again, the email address is in the About tab, and you can message me through the Facebook group. Also, our next sew along, once Quilt Bingo is done, is called Twinkle Twinkle, and I'm just very, very excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. The only clue I'm giving out is save your strings for now. But if you don't like strings, or you don't have strings, or you're just starting out and you're going, I don't even know what a string is, you can cut these pieces from your fabric, like your fat quarters or your yardage. It's okay. We understand that sometimes people have managed to mangle their strings so badly that they hardly have any. And yes, it does happen. So also, Mini Mondays is coming back with a few changes, and it is back. We're filming this just before the Canadian Thanksgiving, right in October. So we're going to do like small piecing, a little bit of hand piecing, a little bit of EPP, and some foundation paper piecing. And the blocks are going to be less than 12.5 inches. So we've kind of expanded our range of stuff that we can present to you, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I've got some good feelings about what's going on here, and I've also the first couple of them we filmed, I've put 2 blocks in on every mini Monday, so you can do 1 block or both blocks, or you know, just whatever your heart desires. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. So I guess that's it. Come on in. We're gonna get to the sewing of traditional blocks in Quilt Bingo, and this one's called the O Susanna. Okay, so this is called the O Susanna. Now, there's not a lot of hard parts in here, and yes, you could do this all by Y seam. You could sew these pieces together, these 3 pieces together, of course, or make this one piece with an angle. That's up to you. You could sew these together and then assemble it by Y seams. Or you could assemble this way and, you know, do your block, and then this, and then do it as like a partial seam. Like do these, do this, do it this way, and then you would do it by partial seams. Up to you. Up to you how you want to do this. I think the way my day is going, I think I'm going to go this way. Now, the seam on this, the straight of grain is here on this triangle. That's very important because you don't want this stuff stretching. And what you're going to do is you kind of eyeball it. Now you can fold it and make divots and all the rest of the stuff. I'm going to just eyeball this and make sure that it kind of goes through. These are such lovely blocks, by the way. These are just gorgeous blocks, these traditional blocks. I had a hard time picking which traditional block because there's all sorts of lovely blocks you can make with these traditional blocks that are, I mean, we did an entire series on it. And then you want to eyeball the next one. Oops, eyeball the next one. You want to line it up on the edge. And you want the little bits hanging out on each side to be as equal as possible. Just a hair. That's like a thread more. There we go. And to keep myself piecing, I'm just going to press to the dark. There we go. There. I love this Japanese print, these Japanese, I have a whole collection of Japanese prints that I am just, ooh, so pretty, so pretty. I think I'm going to have to pull them out and just make something just incredible and be done, you know? It's kind of that moment is coming where it's time that they go. I mean, you guys get it, where you have all these gorgeous fabrics and you're like, wow, what am I going to do with all of this stuff? Well, I have to pull them out and start using them apparently, because it's not good to have that much stuff kicking around, you know? So maybe we'll do another sew along here and just call it, okay, pull it, you're crazy. And we'll pull out all these oriental prints, these lovely prints that I've got. There we go. Ooh, that one laid out perfect. Okay. Now this is a good block if you're doing leader enders too, right? And just give it a press. Press to the dark. The last piece that we sew in before we start sewing it all on. There. And a nice 1/4 inch. This, like I say, this one would work really well for other prints. But okay, so let's get this. Oops. Now I'm just gonna go halfway, not quite halfway, because what I've done is I've laid this piece on top. I can't see my point, so I'm only going to go a little bit on here. I'm going to stop short of my point, quite a bit short of my point, because I want to make sure I get that point, because I don't want to be losing that point. Especially, you know, that I've worked so hard for it. I've got some leader enders here. I'm just going to quickly grab and sew and put them together. I'm just grab random ones. It's all good. Okay, so now I still have my point to sew here. You know, when I put it down, I was like, oh, I shouldn't have been doing that. Ah, no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press to the dark. Now we're going to line this back up. And we're going to put this down and we're going to sew the whole thing, but we're sewing this side. So I can see where my point is. This point here, you see the X? That's really important to be on that X. And it's important to be on this side of the X, otherwise you're going to lose your point. Right? So let's get this lined up. Just quick like a bunny. And here we go. And maneuver this. Okay, maneuver this now. Make sure you're aiming for this side of the point, right? Ooh, oh, very, like a thread away. Perfect, 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 perfect. I couldn't ask for a nicer one to do. Okay, grab another leader ender. There we go. There. Anyways, the way I was explaining how you could do this couple of different ways on assembly, you could do it that way, other ways, just whichever way that you feel that you lack the most ability in. You know, kind of challenge yourself a bit. Sometimes you learn so much by challenging yourself. Okay, so I wind this up, drop my needle, put this down in place. Okay, now I want to sew so it goes down. And now I want to sew, and I want to stay on this side of that point. Yes, I did. Perfect. Nice. Doesn't take much to figure this one out. You know, figure these ones out this way. You know, it's always a nice, crisp. You always can end up with some beautiful points if you sew them the right way. And I think it's worth the time to do. If once you are conscious of, okay, let's sew this so that I can see my points and make perfect points, all of a sudden your game changes, right? You have a game changer. Now, there we go. Now we're going to go here like so, like that. And we're going to flip it this way so I can see my point again. Now, there's been a few different ones that are called O Susanna. This block has been called a few things over the years. A few different things over the years. And there's a few different cutting instructions and everything for this. You know. What some of them do is they take the blue and they make this into a triangle, and they'll sew on a piece of blue, and then they'll do a flip and stitch to make the red, and that also works. This is kind of a different, there's a bunch of different ways of doing this block, and none of them are wrong, and some of them provide some very interesting ways of doing it. You know, and they all end up with the same silhouette. So that's kind of important. And just finger press this away. Oh, another perfect point. Woohoo! Now, there we go. We're at the end, and we got to sew this. So we're now going to turn it this way because I was smart enough to stop before I went over my point, right? Because that's, you can stop. I could have stopped anywhere along here, and still be able to make the partial seam. But if I wanted to make the point and the partial seam, I had to stop in the first inch, right? So that's how you figure out where you have to stop. And it's just because I laid down the first one incorrectly. Okay, let's lay this out like so. And this out like so. Make sure it matches. Nice and neat. Make sure I've got a point. Yes, I do. Woohoo! Sew up to where I sewed before, and then back. And we're good. There. Now, another leader ender. I know you guys get tired of me seeing that, don't you now? Okay. There. There we go. Now, because I sewed this by partial seam method, there we go. Everything, okay, so first up, everything pushes away. Ooh, this lovely line, nice and flat. Everything pushes away from the red square, right, to make your little square. And then when you're doing your partial seam, everything pushes away from the square. This is the way the block is going to lie flattest. Now, as you're looking at this, I'm going to show you this point in particular. I don't know. Can you see where I stayed on this side of that point and not the other side? Because, oh, let's go this way. Here we go. And get it a little closer. Hopefully you can see how I made that point. You steer sometimes. And sometimes you get a little closer than you need to, but that both of those are going to be just lovely points. And the other two are right on the money, so I'm happy. So let me give this a good press, and I'll meet you at the ta-da moment. Okay, this is our O Susanna, the traditional blocks for the quilt bingo. And yes, I had a hard time even picking these blocks to figure out something really cool for you guys to do. So the O Susanna is one of mine that I look at, and there's different ways of assembling it, and there's different ways of cutting it. I gave you cutting instructions that would do almost this layout, except I believe there's 2 blocks, or one, I haven't decided whether it's 2 blocks of yellow or one larger block of yellow. My pieces in my scrap fabric stash lent itself to doing like the larger pieces, but I think I gave you the traditional pieces of 2 yellow squares. This is a really good scrap buster as well, because you don't have to have the same yellows or the same blues, right? So that's also a really good thing. Now, the intermediate block is Snail Trail, and when I was cutting this, I'm like, oh good grief. You know, this is one of these blocks that is like the basket blocks. It's easier to do 2 or 3 or 4 at a time. This is Snail Trail. And like I say, it is a very good scrap buster. Now, if you wanted to do just any blue all the way around or any green, this pattern would still work because you're now playing with lights and darks. And that's going to help you make this work. I decided to pull out some crazy blue fabric that I had with little florals with little faces in the center, and it was fun. It's for a kid. It'll be fine. Now, for the hard, we get more into the tiny piecing. And this is, the block is called Contrary Wife, and I've laid out the colors different in each block and creating kind of like you're kind of looking at this going like, wait a minute, are they all the same block? Yes, they are. It's just that colors are placed in different areas, and therefore the values in different areas is switching around. That's why you have this kind of like very fun block coming out of something very traditional like Contrary Wife. This block has been around for a long time, and I've always seen it, and I have made this block in the past, and I just loved it. I thought, oh yes, they're going to like this one. So, I do hope you're following along with these and, building some skill or trying some new skills or having a little bit of fun with this. You work at whatever level you want, or you can work on all 3 levels. You got 3 patterns to play with and have fun with. So, this is all good. So, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week ahead, and life for you is going great, and you're finally seeing a dent in your scraps. We all pray for that. Yes, we all do. We all pray for a dent in our scraps. So you stay well and you take care until we see each other again. Okay, bye. My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life and you know, your 1/4 inch is perfect, everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your life and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay? Take care. Bye.